sat there with your phone and you're ready to post all your images that you've lovingly shot. And I have so much fun shooting, the looks that go down the runway. And then I started getting messages going, have you been on Twitter yet? And I'm replying, going, no, not yet. Like, it's my next step. And then they started coming even more going, maybe don't go on Twitter tonight. And you're like, fuck. I didn't even think I didn't think it was a particularly bad episode for me. I feel like I coasted through it, but then there's things that people saw. And by people, I mean trolls, let's be specific, because the ones that have induced all of this, where it comes from a dark, hateful place.
Yep.
Now, I saw, I've seen on Twitter since the article came out as well that there's people who want to talk about it's a conversation about, okay, well, you're on a reality TV show, which is ultimately all about judgment. There's a panel with 4 people who are there to judge you, right? Cool. Consensual judgment. We're there in the spirit of it to be judged in order to get through the competition. That's great.
Yep.
What really spearheads the show as well, and what makes it so amazing, is that everybody can chime in and have a gorgeous opinion about it. It's what it's there for. It unites us. Everyone can sit there and go, X, Y, and Z. I love her. I dislike that. I love that. That kind of thing. The crossover, and this is where people start to reach breaking point, is when there's a lack of awareness with trolls. And I think for me, on a good day, I can see a boundary straight away, right? I can tell when it's gone, oh, this has just gone like completely over the edge. When it's a barrage of stuff that's just coming at you all the time, like on Thursday, I was like panicking, going, oh shit, I shouldn't be feeling bad about this because this is part and parcel. And then when you see some of the stuff, you actually shit yourself and go, oh, well, if this is part and parcel, this is what I signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
But then it gets a lot darker, but you're still in your head going, it's still part and parcel. I
deserve this.
Yeah, this is exactly what I asked for. And actually, no.
And also,
no.
The panic that would happen in a situation like that, where you feel like this opportunity that you've been given has been turned into, it's spinning out of control, and it stops being something that you have any say in. You start to feel like you're just a player in a storyline that wasn't what you chose and wasn't what you were even aware would, you never saw that coming. And like, name someone who likes to feel powerless. Like, that's an awful feeling, but especially when it's happening on such a huge platform, like that's terrifying. That's like drowning.
Yeah, it kind of is. And I actually wouldn't wish that feeling on anybody as well. It's hard we've all had moments of despair, but it's like you said, when it's on such a huge scale, that feeling doesn't just stop. It's not like the self-contained thing. It does actually grow, and you can tell the kind of scale of it. I described it as, I feel like there's an angry mob outside of my house, knowing full well that, no one knows where I live, unless I do and party. But it really felt like there was, curtains closed. I can't go out there. When you're in the public eye, and you kind of want to, because I don't know about you, but I really, really sensed that you applied for the show in the first place because you wanted that. You wanted the traction, and you wanted the chance to get your message out there, show your creative mindset, and interact with people, right?
Yep.
The fans make it. It's the best bit. It's the best bit. And when it's not happening, it's like, fuck, what have I done wrong to trip myself up for everyone to just be like, no, we're pissed off.
And the fact is,
ruined this.
You haven't done anything wrong. You made a couple comments that people didn't like, but that's not the problem. That's not the real problem that people have. The problem people have is that they haven't seen enough of you to fall in love, and so they think to themselves, why is she still on the show? Because the show hasn't given you any airtime, and possibly that's because you were in your head when you were there filming, and therefore weren't giving the cameras what they needed. Like, if I ever advise, this is a bit of a tangent, but if I ever talk to someone who's about to go on the show, I always say, make sure you remember that you're making a reality show first, and doing a drag competition second, because when I was there, I was so focused on the competition that I forgot to, like, I actually actively hid from the cameras in the workroom, because I was like, I can't deal with that. I just want to focus on doing drag and, like, the challenge and the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, forget about all that stuff. Like, and of course, then how do they make a TV show with you? And I feel like you haven't been shown on the show nearly as much as I would like to see you. And possibly that's because, like I say, you were holding yourself back when you were there, or possibly they're just doing you dirty.
So, well, for me, it's like, because I'm still under contract, I can only look at kind of what's happening to me right now, and recognize the with the fan base, and recognize that this hasn't. I'm not the only one, right? There are people that love their artistry and love their drag enough to want to go. Oh, Ginger Minge, bless you. And they, you know, they put themselves forward for this really nerve-wracking, really scary, super exciting thing to go, fuck yeah, I'm ready in my career to go and do this. And I want to share it with people because I think that I have the goods, right?
You do have the goods.
Oh God, I know it. A couple of days ago when I was lying in bed in a dark room, I knew that I didn't have it. That's the scary bit, but I know, otherwise I wouldn't be there and I wouldn't still be competing.
Yeah. But there's another also kind of double-edged sword with Drag Race where, like, how would you ever be ready for that experience? Like, I mean, ideally, I would have gone on 2 years later when I'd had a bit more chance to, like, because I hadn't been doing drag that long when I went on the show. And, you know, you're never going to be ready. You know what I mean? You're never going to, but you need to be able to go on the show and be like, I am the best drag queen that has ever existed. And unless you can do that, you probably aren't going to win, because you need to have so much internal confidence to sell that to the world and to withstand all these cameras and all of these people telling you that this is shit and that is shit. And you need to still just be like untouchable. And
the resilience is strong.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And so, like, how do you prepare for that? It's so
I know. In the short amount of time as well. Like, how long had you been doing drag before you applied and then got on?
About 4 years, but like only like hardcore like a year.
Yeah. Same. I was 2 years when I sent off my application to go on it.
Right. Yeah, and like,
which really isn't, it's not a lot of training. Don't get me wrong, I knew who I was when I applied, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. My audition tape was like, still watch it back, and I'm like, good for you, bitch. Good for you. Oh, the dancers are in. Yeah.
I don't know, how did you find it actually being on the show, or do you not want to talk about that?
I don't know if I'm allowed to yet. Not to make it sound like an ominous, creepy thing.
No. My understanding is that you are.
I think so. Yeah, it was very different the first time round to the second time round, which is, again, an incredibly unique opportunity to be able to go, hold on a minute, we can pause, we can go away, refine everything, and come back like it's literally all stars.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to spend that time to sort of look inward and go, what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I think that I can change and give myself the fucking glow up that makes good TV? So I came back with the teeth, I came back with the filler, I came back looking like freshly Botoxed Gollum, and I was like, I look insane and like foxy but like an insane fuckable way. And I was like, yeah, this is great. And I had this stupid haircut, and Rue keeps talking about, well, I kept talking about, you've come back with this stupid haircut. Like, I get you now. And I'm like, thanks. Thank you so much. Like, just that little ping factor where you go, okay, I'm doing a good job after lockdown. It just took me this to like get back in the game. And my confidence rose because of it. Like, I went back and genuinely enjoyed myself.
Yeah, you can see it watching. Like, there was a totally new energy to you last week or the week before? Last week.
Yeah, we're two weeks back in from the lockdown. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because Eurovision was first week back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a whole new confidence. And I guess maybe what people are responding to negatively is like, who does she think she is with this confidence? How dare she have that confidence?
I agree. I really do. That's one of those thoughts that I like to put in the back of my head and think, no, people don't really think like that. But
no, they do.
I think they really fucking do, and I'm giving them too much credit to think, oh, actually, no, they know something that I don't know, right? These are the dark voices in my head going, they know better. They know better than me. I don't think, and I include everybody in this, I don't think the human brain has actually evolved that much. I think we have a quota for how much love and negativity we can receive, and it's the same with giving out. So we don't give people leeway enough to get out of the boxes that we've mentally put them in. I think it's literally that simple. So I think if someone's in their lane and you're looking at them going, you're in this box and I can cope with you being in that. It could be anyone. You fit that role, you're that figure to me, that's what you do. If someone tries to, or actively pushes themselves out of that box, you're triggering people's, you're triggering their concept of what you are, right? And this is why I tweeted.
And they feel
at the end of the post, it's like, if you're shining bright and people it's fucking with their head, don't go back in that box. Keep fucking shining, right? Keep going because you are doing it right. I know there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit when it comes out like that in waves of hate, but you are genuinely, you're doing it right. You're doing it.
100%. And it's so easy to see just in another example on your season is Ahura, who fortunately had the nice edit of like cocky, she went from cocky bitch and everyone was pissed off at her to a little breakdown moment, and suddenly it's like that vulnerability allowed people to give her a chance to break out of that mindset that they'd had for her.
Yeah.
And you haven't had that moment on the show yet where people have been like, people don't know your story, so they're just putting it together from very, very small things and little sound bites, and that puts you into a box that they don't want to see you get out of. And I think when someone thinks to themselves, how dare she be that confident, one of the things they're seeing is responding to is, how dare she be that confident, because they actually don't know anything about you yet, because the show hasn't given you a lot yet. It hasn't given you a vulnerable moment. And they're also thinking to themselves, I feel threatened by that because I could never be that confident because I think that I'm shit. And so seeing someone else be confident makes me feel like I should be confident, and I'm not ready to do that. It's like, it's triggering.
Yeah, massively. And I'm very aware that it's a projected insecurity as well. That's where hate comes from.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, you know, they don't know me, and this can be applied to anyone who's on the receiving end of something. I'm unknown to them because we've never met. We've never had an exchange. They have an idea, and the idea of me is something that has it's clicked something in their head that they recognize that they don't like. So ultimately, and it's probably because I do it as well, on a smaller scale, and you can control it. I'm a success story of controlling your own insecurities. You can, they see something that they don't like, and it's literally a part of themselves that they see in you, and they think, how the fuck dare they? So
Yes, how dare
they go on the attack and go, how dare you do this thing that I relate to so hard? They may as well just tweet.
I don't like myself.
I hate myself. This is a huge insecurity of mine, and I'm seeing it in someone else, and I'm furious about it. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's that, it's kind of that's what it screams. That's how obvious it is, and
Totally.
that's not to put people down. Like I said, I don't think we're that evolved. There's only so much that we're capable of thinking and feeling at any given moment, but it's an opportunity for people to, if they are watching this or they see this at some point, know that we're so alike in terms of personalities, because there's only so much that we can do. So there's more that connects us than actually divides us. So to go in straight with a hateful message and go, that thing that you did, that admittedly I don't know you, but you're a fucking twat because of that. No, I'm not. Stop. Just calm down. It's not like that. You're just recognizing something that you dislike.
Mm-hmm.
Chill. Take a breath, put your phone down, and think about it a little bit more. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything projectile. Just stop and think for a little minute.
Yeah.
Because we don't, I'm not even saying, I'm not going for censorship at all. I'm not saying that people can't have opinions on these things. You are allowed to. You are 100% allowed to. You're allowed to voice them. But think about your words. Again, I don't think people give themselves enough credit for how powerful, how powerful those, you know, that 120 characters or whatever it is on Twitter can be. When you write a message like,
let's get to the practical. Yeah, let's get to the practical in one sec, because I think what you're saying is like generous. It's very, very generous, because yeah, like when you're feeling yourself and when you're feeling good and you've got enough validation coming in, it's easy to see a tweet, a nasty tweet being like, I don't like so and so, I think they're a cocky slag, and be like, I'm sorry that you're having a hard time, and like give them love back. But like for the most part, that's actually very difficult. And like whenever someone, and when they're sending you directly that energy, it's like, how is someone supposed to cope with that? How are you supposed to take that like literal self-hate that's projected towards you and respond with love and kindness and warmth? Like, it's impossible. It's
really
impossible.
difficult. Yeah, really difficult.
So I think like the way you have handled yourself has been brilliant, because I haven't seen you clap back at all. You went a bit quiet, and then you wrote a really brilliant article, like really explaining, humanizing the whole situation. And I think that's much better than I would have done, because I would have been wading in there calling people's mums ugly fuckers. You know what I mean?
Oh, believe me, it was tempting. It was tempting.
I bet.
No, I thought I genuinely have an opportunity to make a difference that doesn't just involve me. And what was the point in, you know, obtaining this platform if I'm just gonna do the thing that would come so easy to me in that split second, which is to just get involved and start, you know, clapping back. It's an option. You can do that. It's not wrong. But let's try and do this, because it does. Let's try and talk about this a little bit more, because it does seem to be an ongoing thing within the gay community. And that being said, there is a very distinct demographic of people that when I was reading those tweets, I could tell what demographic they were, and it's white gays. It's white gay men.
Yeah, it's funny because people love to complain about the teen girl fans of the show and say that they're that they don't get it, or that they're ruining drag or something ridiculous. But like the support I get from teenage girls is incredible. Like I would have quit I would have quit the teenage girls. Like, I love them
Literally.
so much. They are like this buoyant life that keeps me going. But it's gay men that I'm like I'm afraid of disappointing. I'm conscious about impressing. I don't want to get on the wrong side of, because you know that they'll turn on you just like that. And
Yeah.
and I know that they will, because I'm the same. And like, there are times in my life when I have been very judgmental and just gone poo-pooed or like shat on someone else, you know, yucked someone's yum, to use a phrase. Like, yucking someone's yum just because it makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gross.
Yeah. It's gross. It's gross, and it's gross, and it's lazy. I think it's really ill-considered. Despite me saying, as a human race, I don't have hope for us because we're not that evolved. I do actually have a lot of hope, and I do think that we can do so much better than this. So much better than this. What I wouldn't want to see is that what we do gets run into the ground and completely divided, even more than it is. And I don't know whether people are over-opinionated because they're in lockdown and they want to have this innings into what's happening more so now because there's not a lot going on. Have all that. What I'm saying is, get involved, join in, but just be critical and mindful of what you're putting out there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a tweet aimed at someone saying, fucking kill yourself. It's a tweet that will then inspire other people to jump on a bandwagon and go, yeah, they're a cunt. Yeah, I thought that as well. What a bastard. What an F word. Like, all of this. We have to take responsibility more now for what we are putting out there.
Yes, totally.
Me 2 cents.
That was a conversation I had on Twitter exactly today, where someone I follow who, you know, I think normally tweets quite reasonable things. They had said something critical but fair, like, you know, a reasoned thing. It wasn't mean, and I think there's a space for still to say, this person wasn't my favorite this episode, this person really shone. You know, there's probably still room for that, but it was everything that followed underneath that their original comment just enabled. And I think that if you have written something that has enabled people to be hateful in the comments below, then it's your responsibility to moderate that comment section and tell people that they're out of line if they start being out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like you said, none of us are trying to shut down free speech. We're not trying to, we want these conversations to be happening. We, you know, for the most part, usually the attention is really good, and we wouldn't want people to feel like they can't get involved and talk about the show. But like, just think about, like you said, if you would say that to someone's face. And if you wouldn't, then don't probably write it on the internet. Just focus on the positive. If you can't
focus, aim to focus on the positive. And if you absolutely cannot, consider the outcome of it. That is literally it. I'm not asking people to down tools and delete their accounts. It's not like that. Because where's the fun in that? That's bullshit. It's just literally just, you know, just direct what you're saying. Just literally concentrate on what you're saying. Think about if you were on the receiving end of it. Is this something that you would say? Mouth it out. Literally mouth it out. Say it. Would I say this to someone? And if not, why? And it ultimately will direct you to, because it's going to be hateful and it's going to be damaging. It's not difficult to be.
It's not going to make that.
It's not difficult to be.
Nice.
It's not difficult to not be a twat. I think it's an active trait. It's way more difficult to put that energy into being
Totally
a negative twat.
And if you still wasteful. Really need to say it, you know what, hun? You need a WhatsApp group.
Fucking text a mate. And if it's coming out, just message someone. Like, if it's coming out because you don't have any more options, then you need more mates. And that's probably because you're a twat who directs things like that to them in real life.
It's probably half the problem is that you're a twat, and the other half is probably, like you say, it's lockdown. And like normally we would be in a pub somewhere watching this, and you'd be able to just turn to someone quickly, get that little shitty thing off your chest, and move on. You know?
Yeah.
But all we've got is the internet these days, and it's just like people forget. It drives me fucking nuts. But it's also something that I never would have understood before I was on TV myself. Because
oh God, yeah.
Like
that's
now I feel conscious. If a pop star releases an album, I think I tweeted last year like, oh, when Taylor put out a new album, I was like, oh, nope, still not a Swiftie, because it didn't work for me. But afterwards I was like, I didn't need to say that actually. And chances of Taylor Swift seeing that tweet are actually very slim compared to someone like you or me. Yeah. But still, like, she might, and that would feel not very nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and the flip side of it is, it just kind of like, it raises traction in terms of something. I'm not on Taylor Swift's level. As much as I want to write a folk album in the woods, my God, I am dying to write a folk album in the woods.
My niece is here. Hi, Violet.
Oh, hi, Violet. Oh, I did see something in the comments before that was very, it was very like personal message. I was like, woo. Yeah, I think, and you know, the scale as well, like we like budding drag queens that are just, you know, kind of fresh to all this. We don't have the PR teams. We don't have these ginormous teams of people who can monitor absolutely everything and just say to you, you focus on your job. You don't have to do, you know? So yeah, I get the Taylor Swift thing. And like, you know, maybe if I put an album out and it was shit and someone really didn't like it, say it. Tell me it's shit, but like explain why. And this just goes back to the do better. Think about it. Just think about it a little bit more. Be considered. Be considered in it.
Yeah, it's just it's very easy to gratify yourself by putting someone else down. But actually that's not ever going to be a path to making yourself truly feel better.
Yeah.
Can you tell I had a therapy session today?
You are just like using that therapy talk. I'm kind of leaning into it, like, speak more, tell me everything, honestly. Love you and your therapy sessions. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I don't think this is an end point for anything either. I hope a wider discussion crops up. And to be honest, from what I've seen today, I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope for people just being a little bit more switched on. Yeah. Because that's all we can do. It's not a plaster over anything. It's just, let's just consider things more for our own well-being as well. Like, fucking hell, you feel so much better when you've not been a dick. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Do yourself the favor. Do yourself the favor and don't be a dick.
And hun, I don't know if you intended this end result, but like, you took control of the narrative by speaking out, and you gave the vulnerability that we haven't had a chance to see on the show yet. And I think you flipped the script.
Thank you.
Which is just really important, that people go, oh, wait, I've been contributing to that problem, and I didn't think about it. So I think that you've really done a fantastic thing there. Not only because the conversation needs to happen, but hopefully for yourself too. Like, I think that will have a really positive outcome.
I hope so. I hope so. I don't want to be a martyr, because to be honest, even talking about it now, I thought I have so many like-minded friends that when